What's the stupidest thing you've ever been paid to do? I played clarinet and majored in music. A local community symphony hired me to play a bass clarinet part on a piece for their concert. I assumed it was a prominent or necessary part, but it turned out they just saw the part and assumed they needed it. I got paid $250 to play 7 notes. In my defense, I played the heck out of those 7 notes. I got paid around €150 to step in for a little village gig on the ocarina by a guy I'd just met. I'd assumed it was with a band and someone had called in sick. Turns out it was just him, me and a guy with an electric bagpipe playing 2 very short sets at a village festival. And I accepted only assuming I'd get a free lunch, so the money was a nice surprise. A mate of mine gave me $100 to make sure he stayed on task whilst doing an assignment he had left until the night it was due. I literally got $100 in cash to just sit in his room, watch YouTube videos and make sure he didn't stray off task. Your mate is a goddamn pioneer. I wish I'd have thought of this years ago. Worked at a costume shop before Halloween in high school. Occasionally the boss would tell me to pick a costume and walk around town scaring people and handing out flyers. Best job ever. I worked at a college during move-in, got paid to sit in a chair and press the button for the freight elevator. Good thing I was there with all the right training. I'm sure the freshmen and their parents wouldn't have been able to figure it out. A few years ago the place where I work failed its fire inspection and was on the verge of being shut down. In order to stay open, they had to pay people, overtime, to walk around the buildings in 8-hour shifts 24 hours a day to make sure there were no fires for close to 2 weeks. I did 2 of them. Steel mill closed nearby and they paid guys to do this for a year. Company is still liable for the property they own. Nobody wants to buy a defunct steel mill, so it will probably go on. I got paid for a research study where I had to drink alcohol with 2 other people in a social setting. I was told it was vodka and cranberry juice. Every 15 minutes we had to drink a portion of this cocktail and interact with the other people. When it was over and I felt good and buzzed, I was handed my car keys back and told that it was a complete placebo effect. They didn't give us any real alcohol. I literally felt drunk until they said that and I snapped out of it. I made $60 to be tricked into thinking I was drunk. Plot twist, the drinks were actually alcoholic. The true placebo effect was telling you that it was a placebo, and the real experiment was to see whether or not you made it home. I used to run a Craigslist ad for odd jobs a few years back. I charged a flat fee of $20 no matter what the job was. Usually the $20 was worth the job, sometimes it wasn't. I get a call from this lady who needs me to get over to her house immediately to do the job. So far this doesn't seem that strange. It was Craigslist. This was the most normal thing this week so far. I get to the house a few minutes later and I see this lady standing in her front yard with one of those tiny plastic pools, a hose, $20, and I kid covered head to toe in mud. She hands me $20 and tells me to wash the kid down with the hose and put the pool away when I am done. Why she couldn't do this herself I don't know. So she leaves and I am standing there running a hose on this kid as he sits in this pool and washes himself off. I know someone's gonna ask, but the kid had clothes on. I don't say anything to the kid and the kid is completely silent. To this day I have no idea why this mom thought she needed to call someone else about this. Why this kid was covered in mud, and most importantly if it was worth $20. Made $1,000 standing in line overnight in a mall outside the Apple store for the very first iPhone. Easiest dumbest money I ever made. Kid at my high school with no concept of money paid me $20 to bring his backpack from the other side of the room. Literally like 25 feet away. During college, whenever one of my roommates ordered pizza he would offer to buy me one too if I answered the door when the delivery guy got there. Needless to say, I ate a lot of free pizza that year. Was a lab rat. Got paid like $15 HR to ride a stationary bike with my head in this makeshift diving bell that would periodically have various levels of fine dust blowing into it. I had to report back the level of irritation in my eyes, nose, mouth, and throat. Made a few $100 over the course of that one. The best part was during the initial screening I had to do some kind of lung capacity test, which involved me taking a deep breath and blowing into a thing while this little Vietnamese woman yelled blow 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 at me. How the tables have turned. Cut my hair. The action itself wasn't stupid, rather the fact that my family was willing to pay me $40 to get rid of my long butt Jew fro. My granddad paid me $180.00 to get rid of my dreads, which I was doing the next day anyway. Good times. I'm not the one who got paid to do this, but I did pay a co-worker $3 to eat an entire gallon-sized Ziploc bag of baked potatoes, close to 10 full-sized potatoes. He didn't heat them up before he ate them, but he did dip them in melted butter and managed to eat all of them in one 30-minute sitting. I'm upvoting you, but I'm really upvoting him. Impressive. Make an After Effects video superimposing people's heads and animating their mouths on the movie preview of Office Christmas Party in the style of Jib Jab if you're familiar with those videos. Totally ridiculous waste of company money for 3 minutes of people's entertainment at a Christmas party, and half the people just wanted to drink and socialize and not watch some cheesy video. Okay guys, I know you're all drinking and socializing, but let's all shut up and watch this 4-minute video. It's hilarious. Used to landscape at a super rich lady's house, neurosurgeon husband, and made pretty good money. She had these 2 Japanese maple trees that she paid out the butt for, and they both started growing some moss on the trunks. She showed it to me asking what's wrong with her tree and that she thought they had gotten some sort of invasive fungus. Now I'm no tree expert, but I was like, Maram, I think that's moss, lol. Of course I was a peasant 20-year-old that knew nothing about life, so she called in a tree service to inspect them. When they got there, I led him over to the tree and showed him, upon which we both started dying laughing. He confirms that's moss, bro. We told her. She paid me a day's work to scrub the moss off of her trees. But moss on trees is so pretty. Sit on Reddit all day since no one in the office gives me work to do. Growing up in the Silicon Valley, there were always companies wanted beta users to test their various apps and were willing to pay for opinions. I got paid around 50/H to sit around and navigate everything from math to dress up apps. 8 years old, got paid $3 by my sister to not tell our parents she was making out with her boyfriend. After talking with my other sister, I realized I settled for the $3 and could have blackmailed for more money. I sent my boss 4 numbers in an email. She replied with, "Can you send me this as an Excel document?" So I copied and pasted these 4 numbers into an Excel document, hit reply, and attached it to the email. I was getting paid by the hour at this point. My grandpa paid me $20 to switch his car radio from CD mode to radio mode. I didn't want to accept the money, but he absolutely insisted. Made a throwaway account for this, because it's illegal in my country. I once got paid, very well, to smoke weed and get my brain scanned in an MRI. It was a psychology study done at the university I was studying at the time. It was to study the cognitive effects of marijuana use in regular users. I found a post about it on Facebook, and flyers around the campus. I originally thought it was some sort of bait from the university, but I had a friend who was assisting in the research as part of their degree. It was done at a hospital in Australia, where both recreational and medical marijuana is illegal. I first had to perform some reflex tests, as well as a problem-solving test. It seemed similar to an IQ test, while not under the influence. I then smoked the weed. It was vaporized for me. I basically inhaled a balloon of smoke, and they shoved me in an MRI to scan my brain. They also took blood samples, etc. I was given different strains with different THC levels and a control which had no THC. I did this over the course of 2 days, where each day they provided lunch, and walked me to a cool garden in the hospital for it, and also drove me to and from the hospital. I was paid roughly $200 each day. It was about 3 years ago, so give or take $50. Embarrassingly, I actually fell asleep in the MRI machine, because they had the air conditioning on full blast, and it was a struggle to even keep my eyes open. I remember waking up to the doctors leering over me and then mentioning how I was snoring over the microphone that's inside the machine. While not particularly the most stupid thing someone has done for money, saying I smoked weed for science sounds stupid, especially since I skipped class to do it. My sister used to be a babysitter. One day the younger kid was with his dad, and the older kid was next door playing with the neighbor's kid. So my sister was basically getting paid to eat ice cream and watch America's Next Top Model. I'm a babysitter and half my jobs are just eating food and watching TV while the kid sleeps. Freaking racket LMAO. Jump into a trash can. I had a reputation as an I don't give a crap kind of student in high school. I honestly didn't even care about the money they were giving me. I just liked people liking me. I think everybody likes it when people like them. Employed as a commercial cleaner one summer in high school. Our boss had forecast and approved 3 days to do a job we had done in 1 stroke to a day, and were told to sit on the roof for the rest of the time. Bought up some beers. We were in Ireland. It was legal, and got one of the best tans in my life. I couldn't help but envision this like the scene from The Shawshank Redemption. Repeating phrases over and over again for a voice recognition service. I made about $50 repeating variations of "what's the weather like?" Well, I don't really think it's totally stupid, but I do get paid to cosplay for some events. For one, I cosplayed as a character for a life drawing event, and in a couple weeks, I'll be cosplaying at an event for kids as the same character. I really enjoy cosplaying different characters, so I really don't mind doing it. Our biology class freshman year bet our idiot classmate to stick a hair clip in the outlet at his table. Old butt school with crappy wiring. It gave him a good zap and took out the power to 3 classrooms, all for the low price of $10.25. He was also suspended. My best friend paid me $75 to take a huge 15-second face-buried whiff of his wife's undies that were at the very bottom of their hamper. I used to be a house cleaner. I was paid $25 an hour to clean houses that were already clean, vacuum unused rooms, clean a very thin layer of dust from unseen shelves, scrub guest bathrooms. Rich people, man. My wife's grandmother still cleans the house before the house cleaner shows up. I wrote YouTube video descriptions for $58K a year. I once worked in a bar in a tourist resort. This resort was packed with such bars and they competed heavily for tourist money. The bar owners of this town frequently feuded and disliked each other. They always wanted to know how well, or how badly, their rival's bar was doing. My boss would frequently send me down a quiet alley to peek into his rival's bar and count how many people were in there. I felt ridiculous, but I was 18 and felt like I had to do whatever my boss wanted. One day the owner caught me peeking in and started to chase me. After that I told my boss I'd do any chore or task he wanted, but I wasn't doing any petty little spy missions anymore. Worked at a clothes store in the UK, and one day the sister company phoned the store saying that only one employee showed up and they aren't allowed to go into the store without 2 members of staff. So I got sent for a half an hour walk to the store, sat with the member of staff in the back office for 3 hours till another member of staff showed up. Since I couldn't operate the tills there, they used the same system, just have till pins, which they couldn't give me since I wasn't on their system. So I basically got paid for 4 hours to walk and chat to a member of staff at another store. This was made even better as the day it happened I was severely hungover, so getting to chill for 4 hours was appreciated. You got called into work while hungover and appreciated it. Sounds like you have an immensely positive outlook on life. During college, a few classmates and I were asked to do one of those street food tastes. Got dragged off to a random office where we had to eat over 25 different variations of smoky bacon crisps and fill in a questionnaire, all washed down with orange cordial, weak mixture at that. Got over £20 for our time. It was the night. I still can't bring myself to eat that flavor. I was paid $100 by an American to stalk his online GF who lives in my town. See if she's married or hiding a child. All I did was browse her FB profile and her friends list, which he easily could have done. Told him I drove by her house, but didn't really know where she lives. I just told him what he wanted to hear. Last time I checked, they're happily married. That is really creepy. My friend was paid by all our friends in high school to wear an adult diaper and poop himself at lunch. Hilarious. Until he got caught. His mom was a teacher there too. When I was about 12, my friends found some green moldy crap on the beach after a big storm. Told me if I ate it they would all chuck in 5. There was 4 of us, so sounded like a good deal to me. Ate the crap, got real sick. Had a sleepless night spewing. Next day received my 5 cents from each person. Well played, frickheads. Fear of Brian eating amoeba. What if up the nose and into the thinky flesh? High school dishwasher job at a Cracker Barrel. Pig-faced manager wants the metal wall panels and dry storage scoured. The metal paneling is painted a dull, industrial grey. I show him that the wall can be cleaned, but scrubbing hard removes the paint and exposes the shiny, metal wall. Yeah, I want it shiny like that. Oinked the manager. Okay, dipshit. So like a double reverse Tom Sawyer, I recruited as many kitchen staff as I can to help me strip all of the paint off of the walls in one of my earliest and finest acts of malicious compliance. Reddit had a paid ad wanting you to do a survey and earn a $5 Amazon credit. It took 30 minutes, but paid. I took advantage of it, and some slight overlooks on their part and got it down to about 6 minutes until they put in a time minimum. Then I started doing 8 at a time via 2 computers, 4 browsers apiece. All in all I pocketed about $260 I think for clicking random answers about Lexus and Mercedes. I wouldn't say it's stupid, but currently I work at a haunt on the weekends. One of my jobs is security. I basically stand at the entrances to the attractions to turn away people without tickets. My boss told me if people get lippy, don't be afraid to get lippy back and kick them out. If they get too out of hand, we have a cop on duty that will escort them out. Mostly it's just tweenagers trying to push through without paying for tickets. My first night I had some dumb kid and his girlfriend try to bully past me without a ticket. I body blocked them and said, "Excuse me, I need your ticket." He rolled his eyes and kept trying to push past me. I said, "I need your ticket now please." He rolled his eyes again. "Frick off and let me in." I laughed. "Can you turn around and read that sign there, sir? Can you read, kid? Read it out loud for me." He spun around and read it. "Purchase tickets here." Okay, good. So we've established you can read. Now read that sign for me. Exit. Good job. Now you and your bitchy little girlfriend can frick off right through that exit. I didn't realize my boss was standing off to the side till I heard him laughing. I guess he thought since I was the only female on his team and the smallest at 5 feet 3 inches I might have an issue. He was quick to change his tone after that when he said, "Guess I don't have to worry about you after all. It looks like you have no problem telling people where the door is. I get paid to tell teenagers to frick off." I thought being paid to play video games was fun, but this is just hilarious. Watch a gate for like 6 hours. We'd had problems with people trespassing onto company property, and we were prepping for a big event. My boss didn't want anyone coming in and tearing up the streamers and crap, so he had me sit and watch a gate during the daytime, when all previous trespasses had been at night. Also, the path around the gate had recently been blocked up with a giant pile of dirt, so it was doubly pointless. I read a book and napped in the truck. I also took part in a 15-man effort to stomp out a grass fire that my co-worker started. But luckily the fire department noticed us all dancing around in the field while they were on their way to another fire and stopped to help us. I love this job because whenever something bad or unusual happens, the whole place immediately turns into a circus. Heck, I'll stop too if I see 15 mature men dancing around the field. My mom would pay me to dust the living room that no one would ever go into. The problem is that we had a central vac system for some reason, but it had a leak in it, so whenever my mom would vacuum something the room would become instantly dusty. So I would dust this room, and within a day it would be back at total dustiness. And yes, I would sometimes do this listening to ZZ Top. Till central vacuum systems are a thing. My mom paid me $10 to clean my dog's tail blood off of our walls. She gets really excited sometimes and whips hair tail on sharp things. One of my first jobs resulted in me getting paid to do stupid things. 1. Having to hand out flyers in front of a gym. Almost no one took them and I stood there like an idiot for like an hour or so. 2. I was called into work one morning and was told I'd have to help 2 guys get a large tanning bed out of a basement. When I arrived, they more or less said they didn't want my help because they didn't want the bed to be accidentally damaged. As a result, I got paid around $100 to talk about video games and open doors. 3. I was told to try and renovate a store as much as possible by myself. I was around 16/17 and had no idea what I was doing. When I had recruiting duty, my piece of crap commander wanted us to lurk around at McDonald's and recruit the rejected job applicants. One SG retired. Man. Budget cuts must have really hit the SGC hard if that's what SG1's doing. I snorted a toot of sour powder at the bottom of a sour Skittles bag for someone's lunch money. That was pretty stupid. I was an EMT in college and did some fire watch shifts for the school. When they had a fire alarm that was offline, they had to have someone in the building to call 911 if there was a fire. I would get there at 11 PM, finish my homework, sleep, and then wake up after 7 AM and go to class. One semester, they see doing a lot of construction, so I worked full time for the entire semester, just doing these shifts, and I made bank. I was an extra on a TV show. It was a party scene, so we had to dance all day. The lead characters had dialogue, so we had to dance in silence for the mics to pick up their words. They were to add the music and post. To get the background hyped, they would play 5 seconds of Turn Down For What by Lil Jon. We would all dance hard out, then they would take the music away and we would still have to dance until cut. 10 hours in, dancing in silence. I thought, WTF am I doing? TDDR. Danced in silence for 10 hours as a TV show extra. I did this also, dancing as a TV extra. I noticed that after the music stopped, and we had to continue dancing, everybody was dancing to a different beat. I can't unsee this now every time I see a large dancing scene in a TV show. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.